Hello, hello, hello. We are back with another episode of the Jane Worm podcast. And I've got another amazing guest with me today, joining all the way from the UK. We have Jackie Cowie here, and she and I are going to talk all about how to leverage feedback from your energy bodies into the breakthrough that you desire along your healing journey. You might be like, what is this about? But this is going to be so amazing. And Jackie, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're so welcome. I've been looking forward to this all day.
This is so amazing. Ever since I had you on my IG series, I just been so excited to bring you in because, after that quick chat, I'm like, we got to talk more. This woman is really interesting. And so, listeners, if this is your first episode, thank you so much for taking time out of your day here. Thank you for tuning in, wanting to better yourself, wanting to better your mind. We're so grateful. And for returning listeners, I love you. So thank you again for showing up and making this time for you. So before we get into this, Jackie, why don't you share a little bit about you? Who is Jackie Cowie? What do you do? And who do you serve?
Okay, so I am a chiropractor by trade. I've been a chiropractor for over 20 years now. Along the way, I also studied to be a yoga teacher. And then towards the end, I learned how to read the Akashic records. So I got to the point where I was no longer fitting in one particular box. And so I almost had to jump out of that one and start creating a new lane for myself. So of course, there's nobody doing it in the same way as that. There never is. We're all unique. And so it was about finding other women like yourself who are doing similar, have shaken off the conditioning and the you should do it this way or that way and going, how do I want to do it? And so, yeah, it's been a blend of spending lots of time learning about the physical body. And then the yoga allowed me to start to blend the philosophy with the body. And then when I got to the Akashic records, then it was, the body, the mind, the spirit, everything.
How amazing is this? And you might be saying some things right now that our listeners are like, what are these records? What is she talking about? So why don't we just start off with a little, what are your energy bodies? Let's do a little 101 here for anyone that's new to this.
Perfect. Your energy bodies in yoga philosophy are called your koshas. So this is a really, really ancient framework that when I was learning about it, I was thinking, oh, wow, that's really cute. But how is that relevant in my life now? And it was when I started kind of integrating it, I thought, oh, this is what they were talking about. So most commonly, they're described, like Russian dolls. There's the doll on the outside, which is your physical body. So it's your most dense, tangible energy body. Inside that, so like the Russian doll inside, you've got your energetic body. So the energy here becomes a little bit more subtle. The one inside that is called your emotional body. So again, we're getting more subtle. Inside that is called your wisdom body. And now we're super, super subtle. So I'll go into them if you want and explain like what the benefits of each one are. And then the last body is called your bliss body. So most people, whether they're conscious of it or not, are trying to experience their bliss body. They're in the bubble bath, they're trying to meditate, they're walking in nature. And what they're really craving is to experience their bliss body. But if the other more dense energy bodies are shouting more loudly to you, you're really going to struggle to access your bliss body, which is why the way I work is we work from the outside in and we make sure each one, feels seen and heard and nourished and delicious so that we can spend more time in our bliss body. Imagine operating in the world from there, that state of like, everything is good, there's nothing to fix, it's perfect, instead of, some of the states we greet the world in.
Oh my gosh, this is fascinating. And I would love to go through each one. And this might be something, listeners, you might need to come back and listen to this, get your notepad out and take some notes, but definitely listen to this to begin with and let the information kind of sink in. And then you're listening to this, so you can always go back and rewind. But I'd love to go through each of those. And there's no coincidence, but what's so fascinating is this weekend, my boyfriend had mentioned like, oh, those Russian dolls. No, he didn't call it Russian dolls. So he's like, those dolls, and it's like a body and a body and a body and a body. And I was like, Russian dolls. And he's like, no, he's like, there's another, he goes, Russian dolls. I'm like, yes. And he's like, no, I think there's another name for it. And I was like, okay. Then we like obviously look it up. We're like, oh, Russian dolls. We say, okay. He's like, okay, that's it. But it's so crazy that you bring that up today because literally Googled them this weekend. But okay, let's talk about this. So, and I love, we can all think about that. And if you don't know what this, Russian doll is, you can check it out on Google, but it's really like a little tiny doll enclosed in another bigger doll, in a bigger one, bigger one, bigger one, bigger one. So I guess I'm not sure how many specifically, if there are in each one, but why don't you talk us through the meaning behind each layer that you work with?
Yeah, so in the kosher framework, there are five, so five Russian dolls. And like anything, we describe them separately so that we can kind of get our head around it. But what we do in one layer affects the other. They all interweave like a tapestry. So it's kind of like describing your circulatory system as separate from your nervous system, but actually they affect each other and influence each other. So it's kind of the same as that, which is how, if any of your listeners have ever been doing yoga, and back bends are famous for this. So you'll go into a back bend, maybe a shape that you don't go into very often, and you find yourself crying. And people are like, what? Why am I crying because I'm doing a back bend? And that is your emotional body releasing through your physical body, because what we do in one affects all the other bodies. So your physical body, we're kind of getting down into the weeds, but people think of it as your tangible body, the physical body you can feel, but it's actually also an energetic body, but it's very dense. And so it needs the movement, it needs the food, and it takes quite a long time for changes to become evident in that body because it's so dense. And it speaks to you in sensations. So the pain that you feel is your physical body speaking to you. Any stiffness that you feel, even things like rolling your eyes. So I really dial into this kind of feedback, and say I'm working on a piece of content or whatever, and I just go, and I'll roll my eyes. I'll go, okay, wait, this is out of alignment. Let me start again, because that is what it is. It's your internal guidance system speaking to you, telling you whether you're in alignment, going in the right direction or not. So inside that is your energetic body, and it speaks to you in kind of moods, So when you feel irritable, that's a big sign. Or when people say to me, oh God, I just have no motivation at the moment, that's another big sign that the thing that you are doing, you don't have energy for, because it's probably not what you want to be doing. So yeah, you can apply this to all sorts. You can apply it to health, you can apply it to business, your marketing. Just dial into the feedback you're getting. Do I feel excited by what I'm writing here? Yes. Do I get a little, tingle in my belly when I write this? Yes. Good. Send. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but when you're putting out content, when you feel like you're at your edge, like, shouldn't I do this? Shouldn't I say this? Then that's what I rely on, because my brain, my thinking mind, can talk me in and out of all sorts of things. It can tell me lies,
Mm.
mistruths, but your body never lies. So if you can dial into that, then you know you'll be in alignment.
I feel I am so in tune energetically. I'm a very energetic person. Like whether it's like my own energy or like other people's energy, but I love that's a really good point in, tapping into those feelings. And I know just like you, if if I start to feel that misalignment, whether it's like I'm doing something for my business or performing any action, to be honest, and it just doesn't feel, it's not feeling good, it's feeling a bit forced. I'm like, whoa, no, take a step back. And also, I think I learned this more when I had a lot of flexibility in my schedule. So when you work a 9 to 5, let's just say quote unquote 9 to 5, you're kind of like a little hamster on a wheel. You go into work, you do your thing, you got to work within those hours, you got to make it work, but you're going to notice throughout the day that your energy is going to shift and fluctuate. And I mean, you get thrown in meetings at all times, whatever. You just roll with the punches. When I had my
Yeah.
own business and had all this freedom and flexibility with my schedule, I was like, whoa, I am like the way my mind is in the afternoon is not the same that my mind is in the morning. I am a morning person. I am someone that's very creative in the morning. And I learned all these things about myself, and I learned how to basically schedule my day according to my energy levels. And that's why, really, for things like this, anything for any meetings, I pretty much don't do schedule anything before 11 a.m. my time. And so, because I know that, I go to the gym, I come home, it gives me like 2 power hours basically to
Yeah.
hammer out things that I love to do that are more creative. And then when my mind starts to dwindle, I'm like, okay, now I do the fun things. Like, well, that stuff's fun in the morning, but now I get to talk with
Yeah.
people, collaborate with people. And so I think like tapping into that energy is so key.
It's huge. It's huge. And when you make a pivot from, same as you, from the 9 to 5 to having this space and having this freedom, it is something that you need to kind of work out in the beginning. So same as you, I'm way more creative in the morning, and then I schedule like more admin-y things for the afternoon when I don't really have to plug in as much. But yeah, I think it's really important to harness this. But then I am playing with something else in my mind, and this is really fresh. I don't have an answer for this, but maybe it's something fun for you guys to play with as well. I started to think, yes, I'm using my energy in the way that it likes to work, but also the duality thing. I don't want to create a glass ceiling for myself, like a limitation for myself of I can only do it this way. I still want to be open to the idea. Because yeah, the more you plug in, the more that tap just seems to be open all the time. So yeah, that's just something I'm playing with personally.
No, I love that. And it's true because it's like, just like I said, I'm a morning person. There's also, I'm not a morning person. However, I used to think I wasn't a 5 a.m. person and I was more, 6 a.m. onward. Then, like, I literally would say, why would someone wake up at 5 a.m.? Like, I actually would think that. Then I worked a contract for the last 9 months with the team in the UK. My first meetings were at 5:30 a.m., which meant I had to wake up, 4:45, start coming alive, get up at 5:05. So I had 30 minutes of peace, which is not quite enough, but 30 minutes of peace before my workday. And all of a sudden I was like a 4:44. Like I would wake up, and I love numbers. So, but it's like, again, you're exactly right. Like there's a duality in it all. And I have a belief that I am more creative in the morning, that my energy is productive in different ways in the morning. When
Yeah.
push comes to shove and I need to execute something in the afternoon, it happens. Like, so I love that. I think that there's duality in everything.
Always, isn't there?
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so we've got the physical body, then we've got
The
energetic
energetic body.
energetic body. Okay.
Okay, and then we're down into the emotional body. So no surprise, it speaks to you in emotions. Um, things like tears. Not so much, the expected, I was watching a sad thing tears, but the unexpected tears.
Mhm.
I allow them to come because I don't want to suppress anything. As we know, emotions are energy in motion. So we want that energy to carry on its motion. So I don't suppress them. I let them flow. And then I immediately turn around and go, what about that made me cry? So then it kind of takes the emotion out of it because you're just searching for the piece of information that resonated with you that made you cry. So tears are a good one. My favorite two would be resentment and judgment. Those are two
Mhm.
super indicators of what's going on inside. So if you are feeling judgment towards somebody, we traditionally thought that was external, they were bad or doing something wrong, and we were the good guy. But now I've come to see it as feedback. It's just information. So if I give you an example so you can get your head around it, I used to judge lazy people. I used to think they had a poor work ethic, and I was clearly a harder worker and a better person because, I was very productive. And lazy people, I just couldn't get it. And now that I understand the feedback, I go, okay, I am judging that this person is lazy. What is that reflecting about me? This has absolutely nothing to do with that person. What is this emotion trying to show me? And it was trying to show me that there was a part of me that wanted to rest and I wouldn't allow it to happen. So, yeah, judgment and resentment is another super duper one like that, where as if you can have that emotional intelligence and that self-awareness in that moment to realize this has nothing to do with what the other person is doing. What can I learn from this? And once you go, oh, there's a part of me that wants to rest, the next bit is to take action on it. Got to take action on the feedback you're getting. So allow yourself to rest. And it's those little micro shifts that'll add up to the big shift, in if we're talking about a healing journey or, whatever you're trying to do in your business or your life or your relationships. Notice the feedback, take the action, and it'll start to change everything.
That awareness that, you have there is amazing. And it's true. It's really life-changing when we, yeah, how we feel based off what other people are doing and how we talk about it and what we say about other people. And I know that, as I started on my consciousness, real like understanding the mind journey back in 2020, yeah, I mean, I feel you. And now what's so interesting is when I catch myself like judging people or thinking something, and or I hear other people, like I'm always the one to be curious, and pose questions.
Mm,
And it's like, okay, and you're exactly right. Like I've been that person where being go, 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 go nonstop and seeing people that are just sitting back, chilling, taking their vacations, doing all the things and being like, they're never going to get to where I'm getting to. Like I'm working harder than them. You know what I mean? And then, but really deep down inside, I was like, I just want to relax with them. I just want to chill. I want to take my vacation time without working.
yeah.
So no, that's very powerful.
It is. It is. And it just makes things less personal, less emotional.
Yes.
I wasn't always like this. I was the girl who was easily triggered. I was the girl sitting on my bed, trying to meditate just so I could sleep because I was so anxious. I didn't always do this. It's something that you can learn. It's definitely something you can learn and practice. Um, Another example that I like to use because it's so powerful. Have you ever just been on the edge? You've just about got everything, but if something goes wrong, you're going to lose it. And
Mhm.
somebody says something kind to you and you burst out crying. I
Mhm.
have actually been in the position before where I got cross with the other person for being kind to me and making me cry. And, I'll be like, don't be nice, you'll just make me cry. Again, how amazing is that for feedback? What part of me needs the compassion that that person has just showed me? I am not showing myself the compassion that that person has just showed me, and that's why it made me uncomfortable and cry. So it's for me, that has been an absolute game changer. For the girl who used to cry at everything, now I'm like, okay, let the tears come, but I know it's just an energy thing. And then straight away I turn back and you said the perfect word, just be curious. You might not even get the answer straight away, but
Mhm.
just to open the door and go, what is that trying to show me, is all you need.
This reminds me too of when I first started working with a coach, Hinakon, back in 2021. And I remember joining a morning call and she did a visualization. And it was, like you're walking towards an elevator, like you close your eyes, you walk towards an elevator, count down, and then the elevator opens and you have everything that you've ever wanted.
Oh,
And it's like, so it's all about dreaming about your future self, what you want. As you're going down in the elevator, you're going deeper and deeper into your future self. You are that person, you're becoming her. And then the elevator opens, like, what do you see? You have everything that you ever wanted. And I remember the first time I did that, it was just like tears started streaming down my face. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And I would say I'm not someone that generally cries off like all the time, right? And it
yeah.
was like, yeah, a sad movie or something, but I was just like, because I guess through a lot of my previous masculine energy at the time, I was just like, not in that feminine energy, not tapping into those emotions. And yeah, I remember tears coming down my face and I was laying in my bed, like it's 6 a.m. and I'm like, what the heck? Like, and it was almost like I believe, and then after it happened, I was like, okay, that was crazy. Like, what was that? And then really, as I, got curious and, started to think about the feedback and why I was doing that. And I don't think at that time in my life, I don't think I had ever allowed myself to think about what I really wanted. And I had been, following this career path, doing all these things, even at that time, starting to build a business, but like what I really wanted. Because when those elevator doors opened, like I was living at the beach. Like I had my beach villa. I had all these things that I, experienced in my travel life, but like it was mine. Like I had it. And I was just, and yeah, and it made, I felt those emotions. And really, I was like, wow, okay. We don't allow ourselves enough time to think about what we really want. Like I gave myself permission to just, or my coach gave me permission to really, tap into that. And yeah, those emotions, I just let them flow. And
Yeah.
sometimes when I do visualizations, it does that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is great. I always think there's something resonating as true inside you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had a reaction at all. It
Mm-hmm.
would have just, you would have just been neutral. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that you had that kind of response means there's something true for you. And in that kind of situation, I always just imagine my higher self going, "Oh, thank God she's finally asked the question." It's
Yeah.
probably tears of relief from your higher self going, "Finally."
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. She's visualized it. She knows it's now possible for her. Let's go. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So after emotions, which one's next?
Okay, so then we go into the wisdom body.
Mhm.
The energy here has become really, really subtle. So it's on all the time, but you just can't access it, understand it, feel it, hear it, however it comes into you, because the other more dense energies are taking up your space. So you're trying to get into your wisdom body. Now, as the name suggests, it's where your emotional intelligence comes from. So
Mhm.
it's where the answers that are in alignment for you drop in. It's the lateral thinking. It's the joining the dots. That's the energy body, where all of that stuff happens. So if you, for example, are trying to think of the solution in your head from your mind with your brain, sometimes you can go round and round in circles. We've all been there. But if you know how to access your wisdom body, you can just poof, let it go. And the answer drops in, and it's kind of like an of course kind of answer. So an example of this is a lot of my stuff comes in the shower. You know, my mind is just drifting. I'm not on any particular task. And that's why a lot of your downloads, your hits, your intuition will come when you're in the shower. So I made a post a long time ago now. I was grappling with something. I needed the solution to something. And because I know how to access my wisdom body, I did it and I got the answer in like 8 minutes. It was really, really quick. And I'd been going around in circles in my head. And, you know, everybody thinks, oh, well, you must have sat and meditated and had essential oils burning and chimes and all of the things. And I didn't. I was in the car. I was in the car driving because I know how to do it and I know how to get into it. You can do it anyway. So yeah, it helps in the beginning to be still and meditate, but you don't have to. In the end, you don't have to.
How would someone start to tap into that? I know that for myself, I get a lot of those drops when I'm outside in nature. And like I went for my walk this morning and I was like, oh, like the thinking about a post, like, oh, and this on confidence. And I was like, oh, and this on like corporate. And you know what I mean? Like I started to think about because I've created a new corporate training program. So I've got it noodling in my head, like I've created it all. And so now I'm, speaking about it and finding ways to talk about it. And I know for myself, man, all these ideas that I always think like you never know when things are going to come. And even for these workshops that I'm building my business off of now, started as an idea when I was walking by the water, a path I always walk. And I thought, how interesting. It was like back in 2022. And I was like, or 2021. And I was like, okay, I come from corporate. I'm doing this mindset coaching. What if I offered virtual mindset workshops for organizations? I'm like, everyone's bringing in, we've got yoga, we've got this, we've got meditation. I'm like, what if I bring in like awareness? Like I was but again, just walking, of course, by the water's very fluid and flowy, but everyone's got their own ways. So if someone's like, all right, this wisdom is in me, how do I tap into it? How do you guide someone on doing that?
Well, it depends where we're working. So I work with blockages as well. And each kind of blockage, your energy bodies love a different way of working. Okay. But yeah, walking in nature, definitely one of them. Swimming would be another one. Anything where your mind is basically drifting, crafting, gardening. It's those kinds of things. Where yeah, you're not hyper focused on something and you just let the brain, the wisdom body, find those solutions. So yeah, doing things with your hands, walking, moving forward. We know that walking, kind of riding your bike, also relieves stress. It's to do with moving forward in your eyes, but it relieves stress. So once that emotional body gets to settle down, then you can access the wisdom body naturally, and ping, the answer just comes.
And I find too, something I personally try to do is when I am out in nature, like I'll disconnect. Like I'm like, okay, it's hard not to go anywhere with your phone on you, which I'll hold my bag in my hand. So my phone is like not touching my body. But I will take my headphones out. Like I might, when I'm walking through the city, sometimes like to the water, I might listen to some calming morning things. But when I'm at the water, I'll take my headphones out and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, be
Yeah.
one with nature. Just hear the sounds, like
Yeah.
absorb what's happening.
Yeah.
And then, don't think about what's happening in your day. You already know what you're doing today. You already know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
But
think that,
again,
go ahead.
again, if you've been stuck in your masculine, like same, I was as well for years and years and years, even that is really hard. Even that to just disconnect from everything for the
Yes.
next 20 minutes, hour, however long it is, to let go of that control. So even if you're walking in nature and it's by the river and it's beautiful and you can hear the birds singing, if you're still going, okay, at 9 o'clock I've got this, 10:15 I've got to go do this, you're still not going to access it. That disconnection part is key.
And you're right. It's the hardest part. And sometimes I'm actually like, I need to just go without my phone, like leave without it. It's fine. There's no, like, it's fine. I'll be back in an hour. Like, nothing's going to happen, And
Yeah.
yeah, that I think is probably going to be a hard piece. But okay. So we had the physical body, energy body, no, emotional, no, energy.
Energetic,
Yeah,
emotional.
emotion, wisdom. And what's the last one?
Uh, I don't want to
Bliss,
say I've got a
right?
favorite, but this is my favorite. So your bliss body, the energy here is the most subtle. It's the closest to your true essence, like who you naturally are. And if you imagine newborn baby perfect, that baby doesn't have to do or say anything. It doesn't have to fix anything or change anything. It is just perfect. And that's the energy here. So again, meditation will get you there. But I have experienced this. There's a particular piece of road that I drive sometimes. And as you come over the brow of the hill, the sun shines and it comes down and it hits the land in rays of sunshine.
I love that.
And sometimes you just hit it right and you see that, the perfect song is on the radio, you're the perfect temperature, and everything in that moment is just perfect. You just know that everything is going to be all right in that moment. And that's your bliss body. So the idea is to know what that feels like and go, okay, I'm in my bliss body now. This is what it feels like. Once you can recognize it, the game for me is to try and spend as much of my day in my bliss body as possible. So I've noticed different people use different words, but we're all trying to do the same thing. Some people will say, I want to live an ecstatic life. Some people will say, I want to live an extraordinary life. Mine is love. I want to love everything in my life. And that's what it is. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't need a yacht. It is just to be in your bliss body and absolutely love, the jar that you're drinking your water from. Absolutely.
The perfect temperature.
Do you know what I mean? And just like,
Not too cold. I
damn,
don't like cold water.
yeah, damn, that water tastes so good. And if you can experience life from there, yeah, when the guy cuts you up on the road, it's not going to get under your skin because everything's perfect and it's going to be just fine. And that's really where you get into the responding versus reacting. And yeah, it's easiest to get into it in stillness and meditation, but really what it actually requires is for you to be present, to just be fully present, which is why you can do it in the car driving over the brow of a hill. You just need to be fully present with that moment. And it's why it makes me chuckle. And it's, I'm not chuckling for any other reason, but I have heard people say that they're nervous about meditating and being still. And, that's a whole nother reason. But I always think they're worried about what they're going to find. And this is all they're going to find. They're just going to find their bliss body and how awesome it is.
I love this. And yeah, I can definitely think about times when I feel like in my bliss body, because two things that are very strong words for me are harmony and impactful. So I know, for example, like that feeling right after I do, like, say, a workshop, like, and I am just literally like so much joy. Like, I'm just like, this is what I'm meant to do. This is it. Like, I just feel so amazing. And then on the flip side, like with harmony, like I have now, found myself in this incredible relationship with someone that is so peaceful, it's so calm and so harmonious. And the things that we do, like last weekend, we were outside in nature the entire weekend. And we were out visiting, went visit this new little, not new town, but new town outside of Toronto, and went to a conservation. And what's interesting is a couple weeks ago, I had said to the universe, because I was sitting in my bed and I was like, sometimes you just are like, I know you're working in my favor. Like, I know you are, but show me. And I'm like, which she shows me every day, but I'm like, show me a dragonfly. And I said that a few weeks ago because I don't see dragonflies all the time. Like, I didn't want to say, show me like a mosquito, because like I'd see mosquitoes all over. So I was like, show me a dragonfly. Oh my God, stop it. Oh my God, so terrifying. Okay, this is crazy. She just has the dragonfly on her desk. Oh my God, this is so nuts. So I had said this, that's so crazy. Not at all, because there's no coincidences, but I had said that a few weeks ago. And then a few days had passed and I was walking down by the water and I almost got hit in the head with the dragon. Like, I'm not even joking. I dodged. This is how much the universe was like, wake up. I dodged a dragonfly. It almost hit me in the head. I moved my head to the side. And then I was like, wait a second. I looked back, two dragonflies were chasing after each other. And I was like, okay. And then since then, they just show up everywhere. And of course, you become aware of them. We're at this conservatory and there is literally dragonflies everywhere. So much so, well, like we'd see them all around. I saw one on this like leaf. I was like, oh my God, like it was so tiny. And I was like, look at this little dragonfly. And I put my finger over to it and it climbed on my nail. And it literally like sat on my nail for like over a minute. And I was like, in the moment, like, this is nuts. Like, this is crazy. But, being in like the feeling, and I was so immersed in the nature we were in. And like, it was also on a Friday and I'm choosing to work 4-day weeks. And I'm like, because I can. And I'm like, this is giving me the freedom, the harmony, like the light, the type of life I want, but also to be disconnected and just be like present with where we were. It was so peaceful, so calming. I live in a city, so it's always so noisy. And, it was just like silence. And it just felt amazing. But okay, the fact you have a dragonfly on your desk right now, oh my God.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit of context. Do you work with human design or the Gene Keys at all?
So I just did my human design in the last like month. I'm a projector and I have like, I've been understanding my human design because it's blowing my mind. It's completely blown my mind. So yes, I am. And I actually have a book, Gene Keys, but I've listened to it, but that was before I ever did my human design. I have the audiobook. So I need to like tap back into that specifically as it relates to my human design.
Okay, so I can't read anybody else's chart. I just know my own chart. And like everything, there's layers and layers and layers. And I have gate 55, which is in a prominent place. So it's my design sun. And gate 55, according to human design and the Gene Keys, is going to be when we click from the old paradigm into the new paradigm. And if you go back and listen to the chapter on gate 55, he uses the dragonfly as a metaphor. And it'll be a metaphor because the dragonfly is underwater for part of its life. It goes through this metamorphosis to become an insect that can live in the air and fly. So the dragonfly to me is symbolic of the transformation that we're going through. And because I have gate 55, apparently I'm going to feel it first. So yeah, I searched for a long, long time. I maybe thought it was going to be like a necklace or something with a dragonfly on, but I just needed something symbolic because yeah, it is a real transformation, a dragonfly. And the other thing I got from the Gene Keys that's on my desk is a conch shell. Um, because apparently we are answering the call of our time, which is to step up in the way people like you and I have.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, now I know because I had reviewed I had someone like, share my human design, my whole chart, explain a lot of things to me, but I hadn't yet connected like the gates and like gone in depth in the gates and the gene keys. So now what I can do, now I know I can go and look at what my gates are and then look at this. I think the gene key book is like 81 gene, there's 81 or something. There's a lot. And so I know the book itself is massive. The audiobook is like hours upon hours upon hours. But I'll have to look into what the gates are and then reference it back to see what they
Do you
say.
know, honestly, that book, I honestly believe should be a textbook in schools. It doesn't matter whether you understand human design, whether you know the first thing about human design or not, but each of the journeys through each of the gene keys is just such an exquisite understanding of human nature, the human experience. It's just phenomenal. Yeah, you got to chunk it. It's really intricate, but I honestly think it should be a textbook in schools. If we understood that stuff, it would be amazing.
Yeah, I think, oh my God, that is a like whole other podcast in itself because when I started to listen to or to read my human design and understand my chart, like it is, I have no doubt as to why I have had the careers I've had. I'm the person I am today. And then all the other aspects of, waiting for the invitation and all these other things that like, my authority and that it all makes so much sense. It actually allows me to relax. Like, I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing what I need to. I am putting out the information. I am taking the steps. They will, when they are ready, they will open the invitation. Like
Yeah.
they will extend the invitation to you. And it's like funny when you first when I was reading some of the things, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't wait for an invitation. I don't wait for any of that, but it's not about that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah,
Mm.
it's just
And
so fascinating.
and again, I was the same. So that was the first permission slip I ever got to follow what excited me. And now when I put it together with the yoga philosophy and the energy bodies, oh, because what excites me is in alignment with my highest good and healing. So when I get that visceral, that physical body sensation, when my energetic body starts to kind of tingle and get excited, that is a go. And I have worked with them now so intricately that I trust them so implicitly. When I get that, I will go. And sometimes my brain is going, I'm sorry, what now? What are
Yeah.
we doing? But that's how I can move so fast because I trust that. And either my brain is going to figure it out or not, but I trust that. If I get that and it says yes, then we're going to go with it. Even if my brain hasn't figured it out yet, we will. It'll be fine. But I just started practicing on small stuff, just stuff that didn't matter. It didn't matter if I got it wrong. And I kept doing that. And I'm talking about, this is literally where I started. I'm talking about when I was making toast in the toaster, if I got a nudge or a sensation or a thought or a feeling, go check the toast, I checked it. And I literally practiced like that until I trusted it so much that I could, go with a mentor or something, or spend this amount of money that doesn't make sense, or do this in my business that, nobody's done before, and it doesn't feel like a risk because I trust what my energy bodies are telling me.
Oh, that's so strong. And it's so true. It's that really that trust in beyond your intuition, but really like really tapping back into our intuition and how we feel. Because I recently, a month ago, my coach had spoken with me about an opportunity of like working with her in a different way. And I just wasn't there. Like I was like, I didn't feel right. Like for me, I was like, no. And then a space opened up and she was like, I'm just letting you know, before I send the email to everyone, because I know you said this might be something you might want to do. And I was like, she's like, I'm not, there's no pressure. It's just like, well, you're gonna have to tell me today because the space is opened up and I'm going to send an email. And I was like, okay. I'm like, send me an invoice. And it was like literally like I was like, and it's also like my brain was probably like, what the fuck? Like yeah, actually was like, Jane. But in my head, I was like, I always trust. And it's interesting because when some of my limiting beliefs creep in around money or things in my business, I'm like, I have to continue to hold the belief that I hold in so many other areas of my life. And it's like, and remind myself, it's like, yeah, the money's always there. It's like, I said no a month ago. There's no reason why all of a sudden I'm just like, yes, because now I see it differently. Like I've grown in the last 30 days and, I've grown and things have shifted for me. And now I truly see like, I was about to just cut my website, you know what I mean? Be like, screw it. I don't care. I'm just going to take it down to now, redesigning it and redoing it. Like that's the investment. And it's like, but I'm like, no, corporations are going to be looking at me. I'm like, no, I want something that represents me. And I come from a background in website development and design. And it's like project management, but it's like, I know what I want and I just don't have the time to do it. Like, I don't want to do it. I wanted the right person to do it. Like, is like, and then ta-da, like here it is. And I'm like, okay, feels right. So, okay. I know we're coming up to time here. So looping back to our energy bodies. So there's a lot of incredible information, insight today. My mind is blown. If someone wants to, they're like, okay, this was interesting. Now what? Like, okay, what can I do first? Like if I want to start getting into this. So what is one thing that someone could do today to, whether that's, going back to their physical body, whatever, what is one step that they can take today to really start to, gather this feedback?
Yeah. Well, the physical body is always the easiest place to start because it gives you the most tangible things. So perhaps after your next meal, whatever that may be, just pause. I mean, for some people, even that is a revelation, but just pause and try and name how your body feels. So it might feel like gurgly or windy or satisfied or full or heavy or light, or just try and tune into what does it actually feel like. And then you can start to use that, because we know that no one specific diet is going to help everybody. No one specific way of eating fits everybody. But if you can tune into that, you can start to tune into the nutrition and the way your body likes to be nourished. Oh, I notice, and this was me, very random, I notice when I eat baby sweet corn, I feel really gripey, so then you can take action. Right, I'm not going to eat baby sweet corn. It doesn't mean you have to not eat it forever. Maybe you can circle back and try it again at some point. But yeah, just sit with your physical body and see if you can name how it feels after you eat something. Put an outfit on and stop and go, how does my body feel? Like not what do I think about this outfit? How does my body feel about this outfit? And those are just like fun ways to start. Again, it doesn't matter what outfit you wear, does it? But it starts to dial your awareness in.
Oh, I love this. And those two things are very powerful. Coming from someone myself that I nourish for energy. So like I ate a Cinnabon like cinnamon bun covered in delicious icing on the weekend and crashed after. And I just felt like it was delicious while I was eating it. And it's not about the health benefits. Like I don't care about the calories. I don't care about any of that, but it's how it made me feel afterwards. and then how much sugar it made me want to have afterwards. You know what I mean? And also too, yeah, like my audience sees if you follow me on Instagram, like when I put on my power suit, it's just like, oh, it's called my power suit. That's what I call it, you know? And it's like I feel like a boss. Like I put it on and I'm like, I feel incredible. Like I'm unstoppable. I could be on any stage right now. I love it. So those are two really, really great ways to tap into how the body feels. And, you know, also too, if you, let's say, try an outfit and you don't feel great, what do you have in your closet that you could feel great in? You know what I mean? And again, you're right. It's not about how you think you look. It's how does it make you feel? So don't go putting on those pants that you've been holding on to since you were 17 and you don't fit into them anymore. It's like, no, put on something that makes you feel good or whatever, or makes you feel something positive, you know, because there's no point in us going
You can
down.
even try standing in front of it. So put two outfits in front of you and just stand, feet hip distance, really ground in, just center your energy a little bit, and then notice how you feel in front of this one. And then I would go away, jump up and down, shake, like just change your energy, and then stand in front of the second one, do the same thing. How do you feel in front of it? And your body will often tell you. It'll often tell you what it wants to wear.
Oh, this is so great. Oh my gosh, we could talk forever. I just love this. So, Jackie, thank you for being on today. You're absolute gem, and I look forward to more collaborations with you.
Thank you so much.